Good evening and thank you for tuning in to Hotty Toddy News. I'm Sky Spieler. After 39 years on the Ole Miss campus, the Epsilon Zeta chapter of Kappa Alpha Theta will officially close its doors at the end of the semester. This decision comes from national headquarters after the chapter was unable to maintain the necessary number of members in order to avoid future financial problems. The social and philanthropy events will resume through the end of the semester, but beginning in January, all current members will become disaffiliated. Current Thetas living in the sorority house will have the option to remain until the end of the year. Freshman year is usually an exciting time for new students, but for some, their experience has been challenging. Hotty Toddy reporter Carson King has more on the story.
Many come to college thinking dorm life will be a transition, but don't expect mold to be in the equation.
I just don't ever want to go back in there. I feel like going in there, breathing that air, disgusting.
I lived in Crosby last year. How long was that happening while I was in there?
Crosby Hall is now allowing residents to move out after mold and air quality problems. Freshman Lilia Huser believes the mold was the reason for continually getting sick.
I went home for a 4-day weekend, and I could definitely tell I felt way better.
Given the mold problem that happened right here at Crosby Hall, the housing department did decline to speak on camera. However, they have issued a press release stating how they plan to improve in the future. Among other things, Crosby staff will investigate the mold issue further. Residents were given the option to move out free of charge, although many decided to stay. Huser was not one of those.
Because the mold, I could see it in the showers and around the room, and my parents put up an air filter and it got really, really dirty the second day that it was up.
Along with declining to comment, Crosby Hall employees rejected our request to video inside the building. There's no word on how many residents have moved out.
For more information on the mold and status of Crosby Hall, visit the student housing website. Along with residential problems, the student union has also faced a challenge: long lunch lines. The peak time for lunch leaves the union crowded and students waiting ample time for food. Ole Miss freshman Cole Thompson has experienced this firsthand.
Sometimes I'll try to get lunch before class, and the lines will take up to 45 minutes for Chick-fil-A or Qdoba or even McAllister's.
Looking for a new hobby to try out? There's a new club in town and it's different from most others. Hotty Toddy reporter Brianna Flores explains what it is and how you can be involved.
Ole Miss recently welcomed the Knitting Club to campus, which works to make an impact outside of the Oxford community. Knitting Club President Sadie Rich was inspired by a friend who told her about knitting clothes for children's hospitals. Rich used this idea to team up with her best friend Maggie McDonald, who had knitting experience.
During our work week for recruitment, we had a lot of downtime, and a lot of people kept asking me about oh, how do you know how to knit? So I thought of starting a knitting club, and Sadie had the idea to make it more philanthropic.
The club works to knit hats like this one for premature babies at Batson Children's Hospital in Jackson, Mississippi.
The club will deliver at least 50 hats to the hospital over the university's Thanksgiving break. They hope the hats are meaningful to the babies and their families for years to come.
I didn't set up the club to be conjoined with the hospital. I set up the club and then the goods will get donated.
Sophomore Michaela Griffin and other new members can expect a different experience than that of other campus clubs.
I wanted to join Knitting Club because I thought it'd be really cool to give back to the community in a different way. And I don't know how to knit, so learning how to do that is also really cool.
The Knitting Club meets weekly on Thursdays in Bryant Hall and is looking for motivated members interested in making a difference in the community.
The Rebel football season is soon coming to a close. With only one home game left, the Egg Bowl is fans' last chance to tailgate in the Grove. The Rebels take on Mississippi State Bulldogs Thanksgiving Day. Kickoff is set for 6:30 p.m. It's National Scrapple Day. Scrapple is argued to be the first pork food invented in America. It's traditionally a mush of pork scraps combined with cornmeal, wheat flour, and spices. The ingredients are then formed into a loaf, sliced, and pan-fried. Scrapple is usually served at breakfast along with ketchup, honey, jelly, or mustard. If you happen to eat Scrapple today, tag us on social media using the hashtag National Scrapple Day. That's all we have for today. Thank you for tuning in to Hotty Toddy News. I'm Sky Spieler. Thank you and goodbye.